Welcome to Tomorrow's World Answers, where we answer your questions straight from the Bible. One common myth concerning Scripture is that God gave ancient Israel one set of laws, realized his mistake, and gave an entirely new set of laws during or after the ministry of Jesus. Different scriptures are taken out of context in order to support this. One such example can be found in Ezekiel. Does Ezekiel 20 verse 25 prove that God's laws needed to be changed? The best practice with any such question is to begin with a reading of the passage. Therefore, I also gave them up to statutes that were not good, and judgments by which they could not live. Some see this as an acknowledgement on God's part that the laws he had given them were not sufficient and needed to be replaced by a far gentler law. Note that this is not the view taken by King David, who in Psalm 19:7 stated, "The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul." It's important to notice that Ezekiel does not record God saying that the laws he gave them were not good. It states that he gave them up to statutes that were not good. Because they had rejected his laws, he allowed them to be swept away by false doctrine and to see the results of living a different set of laws than those outlined by their Creator. Paul uses similar language in his epistle to the Romans, speaking of a people who have rejected the mere notion of God, certainly applicable to our present day as well, and what God would allow to happen to them. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a debased mind, to do those things which are not fitting. No one would claim that God gave these individuals a debased mind or placed these improper thoughts in their head. Rather, it is clear that part of the result of their rejecting God is that they open themselves up to all kinds of wrong thoughts. Applying the same logic to Ezekiel 20 would indicate that being given over to statutes that weren't good for them was the result of rejecting God's way of life, rejecting his laws. This is confirmed by reading verse 24 as an introduction to verse 25. Because they had not executed my judgments, but had despised my statutes, profaned my Sabbaths, and their eyes were fixed on their fathers' idols. Many who try to do away with the law of the Old Testament focus primarily on doing away with God's Sabbath. It is interesting that rejecting God's Sabbaths was one of the primary reasons he allowed ancient Israel to be corrupted by false teachings and to suffer the results of setting their own laws rather than obeying God's. To submit a question for the show, email us at twanswers@tomorrowsworld.org. Be sure to watch us online at twcanada.org or by searching Tomorrow's World Answers on YouTube.